gonna flip this thing around here. There we go. This thing is like really blurry. I don't know how. See me. It's kind of dark in here. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk to you guys today about why Magick calls you. You know, I've been doing a lot of research in the occult lately as far as being a divine being. And it really has a lot to do with, you know, going through your ascension process. But, you know, we do have different, you know, separations or entities as far as being a light worker and being somebody as a magician, somebody just being a shaman, or somebody being a Christian. And so it's kind of difficult to discern about what your spirituality really is, because when we talk about New Age, you know what I mean, it's getting to the point where it's classified as some type of new type of religion of that. It's really not, it's not like a religion where it's like it's the religion as far as Christianity or something like that. There's a certain order or, you know, a dead God that you have to like worship. But it's still coming to a point where like New Age spirituality is just, you know, it's your own religion, you know who you are, and just love and light and God's within and those type of things. And I'm noticing that there's more to just love and light, you know what I mean? It's just more, this occult knowledge that needs to be surfaced within the, you know, the light worker community, because it's becoming to the point where, again, it's like this movement rather than a lifestyle. And so, well, I guess I should say just more like a religion or movement. But, you know, when you're calling yourself a light worker, you gotta understand what that really means when you're calling a light worker. Because we live in this world of duality where there's two forms of consciousness that we have, from being good and bad, you know, good, evil, the duality of consciousness. So once we start using the term light worker, we feel like that word is automatically, your mind is associating that with what's being heard or what's being put out there into the collective conscious, that, you know, you're a being of light, you know what I mean, God, you work for God and things like that. But, you know, with my research as far as the occult and understanding what God is, that I'm coming to understanding in my own discernment and my intuition that God is, you know, what people think of God is, they think is a source. And you have Jesus, which is his only forgotten son. And so they're actually having that, you know, it's kind of like a debate between the light worker and the occult teaching. It's like there's some type of, you know, conflicting information. So the question is, it's like, if God lives within us, why is it that when people created Christianity and stole the religion from the old religion, which is paganism, which is they stole all of these principles, teachings of magic, low magic, and everything else, and put them into a systematic religion called Christianity? Why is it that, you know, and again, they created, you know, did they really create Jesus as this character that's done all these things, that's walked on water and did all these things? These are more of a magical type element of a God, right? And so pretty much what they do, once you look into witchcraft and understand witchcraft and the occult and understand servitors and thought forms, from my research, I feel like Jesus is what is merely of God, of a servitor, or somebody who created this entity or this thought form to be a thought form. And a thought form is something where people actually praise something, and in a different dimension, it becomes its own entity. And so from my understanding, Jesus is not what a lot of people would think what they think it is. You know, it's more of a thought form that's of an entity that transcended to a different state of consciousness. And you know, I do believe in the ascended masters. I do believe working with, you know, ascended master, because I know my guides that follow me are either ascended masters, but we also understand that angels are more of the ascended masters as well, but they're from a different dimension. And so it comes to my understanding that, you know, if Jesus was a thought form, then what is it what was his association with God himself, or the source, or whatever everybody called it? And I know that understanding occult knowledge, you can actually get closer to understand and learning how to conjure these certain beings, so you can actually find out the truth. Because when you're understanding the ascension process, what you're going through, your awakening, as far as being a light worker, they understand like the major populace of light workers, they only understand one part of it. And that's just like going to, you know, a different state of consciousness, and, you know, raising your vibration, your frequency, you know, those same things they tell you about, but not telling you about talking and, you know, listening to other beings and connecting with them and trying to figure out exactly who God is. Because you still have light workers talking about the source and everything else. Like, can you really talk to these thought forms, or can you really talk to these other beings? What were they saying? What are they telling you about who God is? And I didn't look through so much information, you know, about the occult and light workers, reptilian beings, other beings, different planets, Pleiadians, extraterrestrial, Anunnaki, all that. And this comes to my discernment that if you really want to know the truth, that you really need to summon these beings. Like, that's the only way you're going to get the real truth. Because, again, you have these people out here to put that information, get information to people that confuses the masses about exactly what these beings are capable of. And, you know, when your third eye is open, like mine is very open, you're always asking questions and trying to discern information. And you don't ever believe in what everybody's saying, period. It doesn't matter how much of a following or influence they got, there's still something that has to be behind there. And I'm not trying to be the person that's always think a person never tells the truth, but I can see through the veils of what people are saying. Even when we talk about everything, even as far as magic, you know, I mean, being a black magician and a light magician. And that's why I created the whole divine ossification workshop, to help people understand the ascension process. If you're actually looking to be part of one of my workshops, just contact me and let me know. That way I can break it down for you step by step, because there's stuff that I know that I don't really talk about out in the public, because people just, I don't know, maybe they're not ready for information, but it's not like I'm holding it back from people. I think everybody should know. And that's why I can just put certain videos and certain things out to make sure people understand what I'm saying. But I'm really feeling like, you know what I mean? Like, so there's just so many loopholes with me being an ascended divine being, or getting to the ascension, going through the ascension process and being ascended, you know, to get spiritual ascent, and what it takes to really get there. Because I want to know exactly how can I work with these ascended masters, because I know that a lot of my guides are coming from an ascended master type feeling, because a lot of your spirit guides would talk to you more of a telepathic level and put things within your path. Now, I used to believe that, you know, Jesus was an ascended master, or is ascended master, but I really don't know what he really is as far as being a thought form. Same thing with Buddha and all these other ascended masters that they say that are ascended masters, and the Great White Brotherhood. But I believe, you know, in Saint Germain and all of them, these these entities that we need to really discover of who they are. Because the thing about it is that reality has this whole hierarchy of ascended masters, right? But there's millions of ascended masters out there. There's millions of ascended masters that still walk on this planet and are in different dimensions. But I know that I'm that person that's on that path of ascended mastery, just like a lot of people are, but they don't realize that. They don't really realize that they're going to a different set of consciousness. But really, what does that mean of being an ascended being? And it's really understanding, again, it's really understanding the occult. It's really understanding the occult, understanding low and high magic, and understanding your intuitions, your abilities, your powers to transcend time, where time doesn't exist within your field. You're not being controlled by time. And then again, you're getting into magic. Like all of my ascended masters and beings are putting me in that path. And so once I say things like Jesus is a thought form and things like that, I know that this, Jesus is real, but he's not what everybody thinks he is. You know what I mean? So say for instance, if, I did talk about thought forms, and what they are. People are conjuring things up in their mind and they're praying to entities that they're creating. So pretty much you're creating an entity somewhere in a different dimension. You don't know that. And that's what we typically can do as beings of being divine beings. And so for over years and years and thousands of years, understanding that information, what would these ascended masters like Jesus, Buddha, what would they be doing right now? Again, what would they be doing right now? So apparently they'll be working with certain people that are a frequency towards, or being towards what they are, like their vibrational match. Because any entity, any type of being, demon, doesn't really matter who you're working with, because I know people do work with demons. These are pretty much beings that are pretty much in your I guess I could say part of your imagination, but other than that, just part of your being. Every being is going to come into your state of being, of consciousness, and it's going to be able to speak to you, unless you're using magic to summon them in their human form. Because you do have, because the more I look into the occult now, so there's Econnocking magic. There's magic of how to cast certain things, spirits, and you really want to get to that point sometimes to really understand, like, is this real or not? But I don't know, I'm just letting you know that that's what you really need to do if you really feel like you don't have a clear understanding about what's going on. You needed to dive into certain things like paganism and witchcraft and things like that, so you can get the knowledge of understanding what the old religion is really teaching you when it comes as far as magic. Now, I know a lot of people wouldn't understand why magic would be part of your ascension, high and low magic. I did do something, a podcast about that, but again, that's a part of the divine ossification process. And understanding that you're the person that can wield magical energies, you can shape, mold, and form based on your own will and desires. And again, so I guess that there's a lot of stuff online that I see about the left hand and the right hand path about magic, which there is. There's a big thing about that. And of course, a lot of light workers believe in the purification of white magic and all that type of stuff. And it don't have anything to do with the black magic, just bad and evil. Again, the duality of consciousness. We gotta understand that black magic is somewhat of a magic just used for yourself, based on yourself, and they say like, oh, it's selfish, and it's selfish. Well, I don't really think it's selfish. I just think it's something that you use on yourself, for yourself only. It's pretty much magic you use for yourself. And white magic is pretty much based towards, like deep meditation, sending energy out to everybody. That's more white magic. But once you learn to balance these two couple energies, then I feel like right there is understanding a higher sense of magic. You know what I mean? And you're not just doing it based on your own needs. But a lot of people are trying to figure out exactly how they can get to a higher state of divinity. Now, magic is definitely a part where you can actually get up there a lot quicker and manifest more things as far as abundance than you ever can. And all that stuff happens it's understood within the occult during my research, because I'm seeing what all of these companies are doing. I'm seeing what all of these entrepreneurs are doing. A lot of people know about this stuff and they have no clue that that's what's going on. And so again, it's just more information is being given to me or put in my path that I'm learning from these ascended guides that I have, because I know that I'm on to a path that's on a depthhood of understanding the divinity of who I really am, going backwards to what I am, or I'm trying to figure out why is it these things keep coming in my path. Like I got books on witchcraft, I got books on personal development, marketing, persuasion, NLP. Like it's it's to me it's interesting information. And so, and other than that, when you start to use the information, you start to see things happen. Like I remember, I just remember just being in certain places and just getting warnings about this happening with angel numbers and things happening, telling me that this is the next path or this is what's going, open the door for me, 1111, and then all of a sudden this new opportunity arises. And sometimes I'm understanding that my intentions are to do something and I want to do this. And then all of a sudden, all of these things just start coming in my path. Now, again, magic is part of that element. We have natural magic within ourselves. But as far as the ascension process, your awareness or your intentions are automatically going to start moving at a more rapid rate because you're awakened. And so that's one thing I want you guys to understand about magic as well, that it's not just flipping magic wands and everything else, that you're naturally a magical being. And I believe that that's what the old religion, as far as witchcraft, they understood that. But this type of information is just, it's just shunned upon. People don't believe in magic, or they think it's evil. And again, that's part of what's keeping people away from their power, and that's what part of what's keeping people away from this type of occult knowledge, right? People don't want to hear that, but this stuff is really, really good information. It lets you know what you can do, but when you understand occult knowledge and magic, again, what are you going to use it for? People get greedy. Man has created evil himself. The idea of that. And the whole point of like Satanism and all this other stuff. And as far as the world, we know it's dealing with black Luciferian type people that just really don't care about anybody but themselves. So again, and so when you're going to a path of why magic is really calling, because I know that I've been trying to figure out why is these magical things, and because I tend to like these books on witchcraft, which I used to read about them a lot before, just went to basic, because I was still back in the past. I was really looking into spiritual knowledge too, but again, I was kind of afraid and kind of got stuck back into the whole Christian thing, because I thought I was going against God, right? Because of that program I had. But now a couple of years later, got back into it, and now it's kind of like, what? It's just, here it goes again. It's just stuff is magic. These principles are very, very powerful principles. And so if you're somebody that's out there watching this, and you feel like, why is these magical things, or this these witchcraft and think, why is this stuff calling names? Because I feel like naturally you're a magical being that needs to understand these certain type of disciplines. Because when it comes to witchcraft, there's different types of discipline, and again, man has made them into different types of structured religions. Paganism, and then you got the Druid type witches and the Brujo witches, and you got the Alexandrian witches and all this other stuff. Like I'm learning more about all of that as well. And it's just like, it just try to religionize everything. It's funny, they try to religionize everything that we do. Again, they try to make the separation between everything, because people always want to be right about something. Again, that goes back to the whole duality, this consciousness that we live in, which you really need to get your mind off that. You just need to suck in this information, and you need to apply it in your own life to reach your own spiritual ascent. And you need to help get other people to that level and understanding that. And that's literally like the core of what I do when I've been doing all these videos and blogs and everything else. I'm trying to let people know that they are a divine being at the end of the day. And you're having a human experience for a reason. And so I don't really proclaim to be a witch or anything like that, or wizard, but I really have a lot of respect for the old religion and what their beliefs are about magic, because just the more information I look into, I just see stuff is really misunderstood on a totally different level. Like, it's crazy. But I really don't see myself like giving magical seminars, but I guess that's probably something I'm gonna start doing, But other than that, I guess in a divine auspiciation workshop, I will go into that a little bit more with certain people who want to be part of that workshop. And my intention is to do these workshops all over the world, so people can understand a simple way of actually understanding their ascension and what it takes to be a divine being that's reaching full Kundalini activation, everything from that to tarot cards to understanding DNA transformation, understanding your spirit strands, understanding meditation, understanding the occult knowledge that you need to know, magical principles, high magic, low magic, understanding these things that you really don't get taught. And so, I don't know, man. It's just exciting to me. It's really exciting to understand this information, because I just feel like magic is kind of like the missing element that people don't want to use or do. And it's kind of like the part of how you can actually, take your will upon this world and make it a better place. Or you can make it a horrible place, just like a lot of other people do. And it's funny because none of this stuff, magic really doesn't happen without your own intentions. It doesn't just happen, like it's natural based on your energy, your intention you put into it. Even if you're not performing any type of ritualistic type things, it's naturally, you can find that magic within nature as well. And it's really fascinating. Even metaphysics is explaining this on a scientific level. But, even when you understand how to weld the magic, or you understand how to weld your intentions and your desires and your emotion, and you just interwove all these forms of knowledge and wisdom together and put it into action, then you start to see some massive results in your business, in your life, in your relationships and everything. It just makes a lot of things so much easier. But I know a lot of people are trying to figure out, like, how can you do these certain things? And, it's really what my Divine Ossification Workshop is about, and pretty much about what I'm about. Still understanding and learning the wisdom that was put here before me, and that's probably going to help awaken everybody on this planet. Now, I know there's a lot of talk about the the whole World War III type thing, like the plans of the nuclear. You know, my idea about that is just like, you know, what if you're a person that's really adept and understands that that's probably going to happen, or maybe you're seeing visions about that happening, then that's the reason why that person or the person that's really awakening needs to get out of their zone of doing stuff for themselves and start helping people on a different level, because, you know, I mean, we really need to change this world or this planet, what's going on. Like, we're in the Aquarian age, and so the energy that's being, you know, that's pretty much surrounding us, it's a good time to start using these things, these different types of information and wisdom that we have to help other people. And so when it comes to magic, you know, I mean, I think we really need to start using it towards everybody in a good way. But other than that, as far as the other side, that you have to get all of these programs and these frequencies and these things off of you first. And so, again, that's a process in itself. You know, genetically modified organisms, frequencies within the TV, things what you eat, getting your thoughts up under your own control, so they stop putting you up under these different types of frequencies in your mind, and sending them out to keep people's minds confused by thoughts that are not their own. You know what I mean? Subliminal messages inside rap music. You gotta get your mind, and that was part of my 60-day disconnect video series. That pretty much gets people that are trying to open their eyes open to a different way of thinking. Trust me, I'm always about a different way of thinking. But I have to say, as far as magic calling you, if you're that person, magic's calling you, then there's a reason why. And it's not because mine's putting a spell on you or anything like that. It's because naturally you're a magical being, and this magic is pretty much it's being sent to you for a reason. Because as far as my intuition is like, and my God, you know, this stuff is like a beacon. Like, it just attracting things left and right based on my intentions. My intention was to understand magic, you know what I mean, to understand magic from what it is and what it's really not. And then what's happening, and it's just, the more information I keep coming across, it's just like, dang, this stuff is really misunderstood. And so, and every time I think about the law of attraction, you know, universes and the universal laws about things, and people that are talking about law of attraction, it's just so, it's like a big old piece of information. Just spit on my phone. But it's just like a big old piece of information that's really not being explained. And it's crazy. It's really not being explained. And I guess that I don't know, I guess that is you know what I mean, as far as law of attraction goes, like, we all understand what law of attraction is, you know, intentions create everything else, but the problem is that people don't have really any intentions, because they're constantly distracted. Their intentions is focused on something else. So it's hard for people to actually create an intention that they want, because they're so confused if that intention is right or wrong. Again, if that intention is right or wrong. And I believe that even as far as magic, that's the reason why people can't perform it. They can't do it. You know what I mean? And then for some people, they're still stuck in if it's good or bad or not. And so, I don't know, it's kind of funny to me, but at the same time, it's kind of sad. You know what I mean? But as far as the people that have their third eye open and are awakened, and again, being a light worker or just a person that's really awakened, we need to start sharing this information hardcore with everybody. Stop trying to put it into this systematic business. You know what I mean? Like, I understand people want to start a business, but we got to start sharing this information. You know what I mean? We got to start sharing this type of information. And I did create the Enlighten Network. You guys should go to Facebook. You can find that. I really want to share these principles that about how everything is connected. I think as far as abundance, the call to spiritual knowledge, light workership, and connect with people that really want to connect. And so some of you guys may be looking at this later on. I know I did send an email blast for this live stream. Just thought I'd do another Periscope because I haven't done one in a while. But just feel free to connect with me, man. We can have a lot of conversations about stuff. If you really feel like, especially as far about magic, if you feel like that stuff is just calling you and you're trying to understand it, you know what I mean? It's part of you being a divine being or getting part of your spiritual ascent, because that's where everybody's eventually going to be at. So I'm about to get off this live stream. Make sure you share this with other people if you can, and if not, go to enlightennetworker.net and make sure you guys get listen to the podcast. I know there's a podcast going to be today. It might not be today. I don't know, because I'm having some internet issues. So I might send out an email address. Send out an email for people that are on my list. But I don't know. You make sure you subscribe to my blog, and you always keep Chef updated. But if not, make sure you join the Facebook group. I really don't have many people in the Facebook group because it's the free version of the Light Network. But other than that, I'm pretty sure that it's going to grow. So, all right. Well, talk to you later.